Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 6 of chapter 9. Yathakashasthito nityam
Yathakashasthito nityam
Vayus sarvatra gomahan
Vayus sarvatra gomahan
Tatha sarvani bhutani
Tatha sarvani bhutani
Matsthani tyupadharaya.
Matstani tyupadharaya.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yatha,
Yatha,
just as. Akasha sthitaha,
Akashasthitaha,
situated in the sky.
situated in the sky.
Nityam,
Nityam,
always.
always.
Vayuhu,
Vayuhu,
the wind.
the wind.
Sarvatra gaha,
Sarvatra gaha,
blowing everywhere.
blowing everywhere.
Mahan,
Mahan,
great.
great.
Tatha,
Tatha,
similarly.
similarly.
Sarvani bhutani,
Sarvani bhutani,
all created beings.
all created beings.
Matsthani,
Matsthani,
situated in me.
situated in me.
Iti,
Iti,
thus.
thus.
Upadharaya,
Upadharaya,
try to understand.
try to understand.
Translation, understand that as the mighty wind,
Understand that as the mighty wind,
blowing everywhere,
blowing everywhere,
rests always in the sky.
rests always in the sky.
All created beings rest in me.
All created beings rest in me.
Yeah. So the Lord is using an analogy here to explain how he's here and he's not here at the same time. So let's read a little bit about the purport from Srila Prabhupada's explanation for this particular shloka. And also we'll go a little bit deeper into this shloka because there are multiple analogies and takeaways for us from this particular shloka. So the most important thing that is being emphasized in this particular shloka is that all beings rest in the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada writes that for the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of air influences the movement of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. So an adequate explanation of this is that if you were to take a bowl and put it upside down onto the counter such that the globe of the bowl is on the top and the top of the bowl is against the counter, then the air that is trapped within that bowl will move very freely within that bowl. But the bowl itself restricts the movement of the air out beyond the bowl. So similarly, all of the planets are like this upside down bowl. Everything moves within it, but beyond that, it cannot move. So the air is restricted by ether. Actually, the word Akasha should be translated as ether and not the sky. But Prabhupada translates it as the sky because it's much more understandable in English. So Akash is actually ether. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under his will. By his will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, he is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. So the bowl has nothing to do with the wind. The bowl only restricts the movement of the wind, that's all. But the bowl itself does not become the wind and does not interfere with the wind, other than the broad restriction of the perimeter that is established. So Prabhupada in the purport gives multiple examples from different shastras, but we've just selected one for the sake of conciseness. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Yad Bhisha Vatah Pavate. It is out of fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. So Prabhupada writes that all of the demigods are performing their respective activities, including the wind god, just out of fear of the Lord, out of the necessity of pleasing the Lord. So this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now going a little bit deeper into the shloka. How do we understand the shloka? Which means there is a little bit of restriction, there is a little bit of freedom. The air is free to move within the bowl, but then at the same time, it is restricted by the perimeter of the bowl. So similarly, the Lord gives us freedom, but with some restrictions. So Krishna has used the word matsthani 3 times in 3 consecutive shlokas, the 4th shloka, the 5th shloka, and the shloka that we're covering today. So Krishna says that all living entities are situated in me. What does it mean? Krishna says that I have given them the freedom within some limitations. So for the living entities, there is unlimited freedom, but within a limited framework. For example, a horse is tied to a pole. So within the radius of the pole, or till the rope extends, the horse has freedom. It can move in different directions. In that sense, it has unlimited freedom. But beyond the radius, the horse cannot go. So the sky limits the area of the movement of the air, but it does not limit the movement itself. So how do we apply this to our lives? Similarly, the living entity has unlimited freedom within limited framework, just as the air can move in all directions, but the air is contained within the sky or ether. In the sense that we cannot, if you look at it physically, we cannot just fly into the air as and when we want. There are certain things that are restricted for us, but at the same time, we do have freedom. So our relationship with destiny is like that of the wind with the sky. Just as the sky determines the range of movement of the wind and not the movement itself, destiny, which works under God's will, determines the scope of our actions, not our actions themselves, which means we are responsible for our actions, but there are limitations placed on what we can and cannot do. But beyond that, we have quite a lot of freedom. So His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes that God determines the scope of our actions, but He doesn't determine your action itself. So God is the supreme controller, but He is not the sole controller. By His sweet will, He has given all of us free will. And based on our individual past karma, He gives each one of us a certain area of control. And this certain area of control is called kshetra. And therefore, we are kshetrajna. What we do within that allotted area is up to us. Of course, whatever we do has to be sanctioned by Him, but it is not impelled or forced by Him. For example, when someone becomes violently abusive, God doesn't want them to act that way. They want to, and God allows them within their area of control. And for their grievous misuse of free will, they will duly get proportionate karmic consequences. So we all have free will. It's how responsible we are with our free will that is going to determine karmic reactions, both from the past as well as for the future. So Krishna's will is like the sky, and our will is like the wind. So if you take that bowl analogy, Krishna's will is like that bowl, but within that bowl, our will is like the wind. He limits the scope of our actions, but within that scope, we control what we do. So the Gita wisdom answers that some things are destined, but not everything is destined. There are a lot of things that are in our control. And therefore, we can use our free will better if we are not so fixated on our material situation, but have developed greater awareness of our spiritual connection with the ultimate reality, Krishna. If we put Krishna first and strive to serve him devotionally, he will guide us to choose wisely. So the essence of the shloka is far deeper than what the shloka seems to indicate, which is we all have free will, but it is restrained within a particular framework.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.